I'm just so open and so excited to be here with all of you today. So, this month we've been talking about the eyes habit, as Reverend Broda mentioned, and the title of my talk is Deeper Seeing. Deeper Seeing. And first, I have to just acknowledge that I just came back from a retreat and from a vacation. And I was in the great Northwest. I was about an hour out of Portland. Many of the days I was at a lodge in Skamania County called Skamania Lodge. And I just love saying that, right? It's just so fun to say Skamania. Anyway, it was a profound and unique opportunity for me to remember who I am. That I am spirit, and that I am here for my deeper seeing. And the deeper seeing that I'm speaking of today is that deeper seeing through that third eye. Right here, that sixth chakra, right in the middle of our forehead. And that place provides perception and intuition and wisdom that is beyond ordinary sight. So, with all that beauty that I was immersed in, I mean, everywhere I looked, I love my home. I love San Leandro. And when I look out my window, I see trees, but I also see a lot of cars and cement and, urban living. And when I was there, I saw trees and the Columbia Gorge and waterfalls and grass and nature. And even though I was immersed in the most immense greenery and beauty, the place that I got to turn was inward. So knowing for me that outer world is a reflection of the inner world, but also knowing that sometimes that outer world can be mistaken for what the truth is. My truth comes from the inside out. We talked about this in the retreat, and I'll talk about the retreat a little bit later, but what I know is that I am the cosmos and the sun. And and the dogs agree with that, I guess. And I'm pressed into form. I'm pressed into this form of my body temple. So the same is true for each and every beautiful soul on this planet. There's no one that is not connected to that beautiful cosmos, universe, nebula. You see, we are that which we pray to. We are that which we pray from. We are that which we pray for. So in order for us to really foster this deeper seeing, I noticed that there was 4 things that you really need to do. The first one is ask. Ask those deep questions that Mark Nepo was saying in that reading. And by asking, what we're telling the universe is that we are ready. I am ready. When you ask those deep questions, it's those empowering questions. Like, something's going on in your life and you just want to know, what would grace do in this instant? How would God outpicture in this moment? So, you know that I'm talking about those kind of questions that expand, that open the doors. Not those questions of why, because we know that those questions just bring more pain. They're kind of like this endless circle, and they just keep going on and on. It's like a 2 year old, and the 2 year old asks you a question: why is the sky blue? Why is the sun yellow? Why? It never ends. But as adults, those why questions get a little more painful. Why me? Why aren't I the one to have XYZ? Why is this person better than me? Those questions just promote more pain. So that first thing is ask, ask. And the next thing for deeper seeing is receive. Be still and listen. Now, this is a time that is perfect for going into nature. Go into nature, take a walk, spend time alone. Awaken to your wholeness. Just let yourself have a moment of quiet. You know, it's not necessarily going to be out in nature. It can be at home. Make a special time for yourself. Light a candle. Put your timer on. Say, okay, I'm giving myself 5 minutes. 5 minutes to just sit and receive. Sit and receive. And once you receive, the next thing you do is you accept. You get to forgive and allow whatever comes through. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing what might be next. It's okay. See, in the past, when I forgave, most of the time there was some kind of condition attached to it. I'll forgive you if I don't have to see you again. I'll forgive you if you change. Right? There's some kind of attachment. The truth is that forgiveness goes beyond all conditions. And it doesn't mean that you put yourself in harm's way over and over. That's not what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean that what might have happened wasn't tragic or upsetting or hurtful or harmful. That's not what I'm saying either. It's a very deep allowing. And the last thing for deeper seeing is merge. You have to merge, you have to embody. You have to embody all of these teachings and knowings. So when we talk about embody in Dr. Sue's teachings, we really literally take it to the body. When something's going on in your life and you're activated, you're triggered, you're upset, the first thing I do is I close my eyes and I scan my body from my toes to the top of my head. Where do I feel this? It might not make sense where the answer is. You might feel it. It might feel tense or tight, or it might be just something that comes to your mind in an instant. That's the answer. Pay attention. It's a very, very important piece of deeper seeing. See, the body is the structuring dynamic of consciousness, right? We are all consciousness. And our consciousness is structured in our body temple. And if we cut that out, There's a big missing piece. And I can tell you that I cut that out for many, many years. I've got common sense, I've got intellect, but I wasn't paying attention to this body only when it was yelling at me, right? So now, for everything in my life, it doesn't matter how minute or big, I come home. I come home. I scan my body. I use my breath. I can't stress enough how important this piece is, embodiment. So, I want to go back to receiving real quick. I know that when some people receive messages, they get a little confused. Is that really my higher self? Is that really my authentic self? Or is that my ego self? The truth is that the authentic self, the soul, will never speak down to you. The soul will always come from a place of compassion and love. The soul will always be very declarative and positive. If you receive something that is not any of those, that is conditional, that is mean, that is confrontive, that is judgmental, that is that ego self. And don't beat yourself up for hearing it. Just bless it. Tell it, I hear you. I hear you, and I'm going to sit here and wait to receive what is mine to receive. That is beautiful and love. So, as I said, I was on retreat and I was away. And I want to talk about one person in particular that was the embodiment of deeper seeing that was at our retreat. I'm going to change the name just for anonymity, but there's a few people on this call that might have heard this or were with me. Marilyn, hey. They know the person's real name. So what I want to talk about is this woman. I'm going to call her Pam. So Pam is this beautiful being of light who stood up to ask Dr. Sue a question. And a little background on Pam. Pam is a sight challenged person. She was at the retreat with her little support doggie, a black lab, beautiful lab named Radish. I love that name. And when Pam stood up to ask this question, she explained to us that this question is coming from the fact that she is sight challenged, and there's people in her life that keep telling her that there's some healing modality for her that will help her heal her sight. So Pam was a sighted person. She lost her sight 27 years ago. She had a rare condition where her retina detached in both eyes. And at the time that she lost her sight, she had 2 small children. So you can imagine the change in her life. But here's the thing about Pam. She's not the kind of person that said, "Why me?" She continued on and did what she needed to do to live in this world without her sight. She learned everything so well that it brought into her a whole new career. She now works with people that have lost their sight, and she helps them learn how to continue on in their life. So she picked herself up, she moved forward, and she learned how to navigate this world without her eyesight. including caring for her kids. She didn't need that outer sight. She had that inner sight already built in. She's a remarkable human being. So when she asked Dr. Sue what to do about these people that keep wanting her to find this other healing modality to fix her sight, Dr. Sue took a deep breath and she let all of us know how remarkable Pam was, because she didn't judge herself. She didn't see herself as broken. She had complete and utter compassion for herself and her situation. There was truly nothing wrong with Pam. There is truly nothing wrong with Pam. As you can tell from my emotion, it was a very emotional share. And I would say the whole room was crying. I was crying because for me, what it really declared was that is the answer to everything. Anything that I deem less or more worthy, judge it or not, good or bad, the answer is complete and utter self-acceptance and compassion. There is nothing wrong with my life. There is nothing wrong with my relationships. There is nothing wrong with my abundance. There is nothing wrong with my body. I am a being of light. I am whole and I am complete. I am perfect. Deborah, yes, perfect. I know how you are with that word. So, I want to say this, that other people have challenges with that word perfect, and the way Dr. Sue described it was brilliant. Perfect is what is authentic. It is our authentic selves. Perfectionism is that place that we question ourselves. So I'd like to take the opportunity right now with all of you. I'd love it if you would close your outer eyes and just think of one thing that you've been telling yourself, something that you've been judging or labeling as wrong. And once you have that thing, just scan your body and notice where you might feel a twinge, a tweak, a resistance, a tightness. And don't try to second guess at whatever came first. And now just take that love that you have. Think about maybe your grandparent or parent or spouse or best friend or dog, someone that loves you unconditionally. And take that love and just turn the dial up. And take that love and apply it to that place you found in your body that was holding that resistance or discomfort around that thought that there's something wrong with you. And just hug it with that love. Surround it with that love. Bathe it with that love. You don't need to hug it tightly, just gently. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Just for a few more seconds. You're just giving that spot unconditional love. You don't have to second guess it. You don't have to talk back to it. You're just gonna embrace it with that love. And when you're ready, you can open your outer eyes. Just take a mental note of where it was and what you felt, and use that little practice. In the Dr. Sue work, we call it love triage. It's a very powerful practice. I use it all the time. It gets me to a place of feeling peace for myself rather than aggravated or frustrated. It can be done in a couple of minutes, like we just did. So, just like that reading said from Mark Nepo, what you say is true, but every trouble wants to draw the best of you into the world, right? These places where we're activated, triggered, these really are opportunities for us to be who we are, to be the light, to be that expanded self, to be this giant energy that we truly are. So the other thing that really landed on me this last week is that it's those places where we're not allowing ourselves to be creative that cause inflammation in our body. Wow. Wow. I always have these great and grand ideas, and I feel like I'm going to burst with these ideas. And sometimes I do them, and sometimes I just don't. And you know what? I'm done holding on to those things. I am. I'm ready to burst. I have burst. It's time. It's time. It's time for all of us. So I know that what I've done in the past is I think that I have to have this great and perfect plan before I can burst, right? And I'm saying, stop it. Stop it. Just be available. Stop planning and be available. Just be with what's happening without judgment. Stay within your own energy field. Allow and forgive, allow and forgive, allow and forgive. I had posted something, I think yesterday, from Byron Katie saying that really freedom is forgiveness. And forgiveness is freedom. It's true. So if there's places in your life that you feel like you're holding on to, go ahead and do that love triage. It's powerful. It's powerful work. So I'm going to review those things that I said so that we know how to do our deeper seeing. The first one is by asking those powerful questions, asking questions that are open-ended, asking questions that are not going to make us feel hurt and mad and cause us to go into that vicious cycle. Ask powerful questions. I think my favorite question right now is just how would grace show up? How would kindness show up with whatever's going on with me? Even if I have a question about, well, maybe I'll have a question is, why haven't you done what you said you were going to do? Blah, blah, blah. How would grace show up? How would kindness show up? Kindness would never berate me for doing something or not doing something. That's not the way it worked. That's not how my authentic self is. My authentic self, my soulful self, is filled and overflowing with love and compassion. Right? It's not here to judge me and be harsh on me or any of you. So first asking and then receiving. Making that time to receive. Like making time to, Reverend Verona posts these beautiful walks that she does in the morning. Sometimes she has words to go with her walks, and you just know that she's like receiving while she's out walking. She's exercising her body temple, and she's in the flow, and she's with nature, and she's being one with the one. Thank you, Reverend Verona, for posting those every day. So receiving, make the time, even if it's 5 minutes, you guys. I know that we all get busy with life and work and kids and dogs and grandkids and partners and there's always things to do, but there's really always 5 minutes in the day, and if it's only 5 minutes that you have for yourself, for your self-care. I mean, think about it. All the time that we spend doing things for others. Yes, I'm all about service, but I can't give service on that level if I don't take care of myself. So make sure that you have time for receiving. The next one again was accepting, and I'm combining that with accepting and forgiving. Very important. Accepting means that we're not going to make a story around it, right? It just is what it is. Again, it's accepting that we are perfect, beautiful emanations of that power and presence and oneness of spirit, that we are spirit in form, in this form, in these body temples of ours. And lastly, merging. And we had a little experience of merging with our love triage. We get to allow these teachings merge into our cells, right? So what I'm learning is that all these wonderful ideas that I have that come in, that I get to integrate them wholly into my whole body. I let that light come in through my crown, those ideas, and really wash all the way down my body temple, bounce back off the earth, and come in and integrate with my heart, my gut, my knowingness before I roll them out into the world. Because I've had the tendency to kind of jump the gun on some ideas, and they were a great spark in a moment, but they didn't kind of last. And I know now I just kind of didn't let it really sink in. I didn't really embody it before I rolled it out. So, when we live our life through the lens of deeper seeing, we really know we are one with the cosmos. We are perfectly unbroken, and we are here on purpose. If we felt like in the past we needed support from others and we didn't get it, the only reason is it's because of our bigness. We didn't really need that support. So, to end this, I just want to say, don't ignore your magnificence. Stop it. You are inspiration. All those problems that you perceive as problems are your solution, are the way of your expansion. They are the way.